Hello, beautiful souls. How y'all doing? Welcome to Brainy Twin Gemini. If you're new, welcome. We'd love for you to be part of our soul tribe and our loving vibe. If you're returning sub, thank you so much for all your trust, your likes, your comments, your subscriptions. It truly warms my heart to the bottom of my heart for all of your trust. So thank you so much for all of that. Everything I do, if you're new, I channel all my thoughts and energy in a journal each day. I strictly flip cards out of my own entertainment purposes. The cards always resonate with, I guess I'm going to say, thought patterns in my journal. And again, as I said, I do it for my own entertainment purposes and for pictorial purposes. Whatever resonates, resonates. What doesn't, doesn't. Not everything will resonate. I'm merely just a messenger on this journey of life in general to debunk any of the myths out there and come to you with the truth. And, this is a caveat because there's a lot of people out there that are monopolizing off vulnerable hearts and capitalizing off vulnerable hearts as well. Gifts are meant to be given, and I'm simply just giving you the gift that I have. I had put out a video a couple of days ago, and I believe the title of the video was The Truth About Twin Flame Tarot, or something similar to those lines, because there's people out there that want to desecrate people and their name and their reputation. So I kind of just went on and gave a little bit about my story in terms of my journey. So if you want to, please go and see that video. But one thing I did talk about in that video, and I want to bring it up again, is, there is magic in the universe. Science doesn't explain. Always go with what's in your gut, your intuition, your guide. Follow you and your voice, and be reluctant to listen to the voice of others. You are your own best guide, and trust your intuition. So if your intuition is telling you that this is something far greater and far deeper than you've ever felt before, then this is your journey. But I will never tell you that you have to come to that consensus on your own. I believe that I have a twin flame. We came to each other in 2019. We went our separate ways. We did what we needed to do, and then we came back to each other in September of 2020, and we've been together in harmony and peace ever since, in a beautiful, loving relationship. So that's kind of my journey. When we met, there was something there that I'd never experienced in my life. It was a love that could not be articulated into words. And, like I said, there's a lot of naysayers out there saying that it's an unhealthy obsession. Maybe it's their unhealthy obsession, but again, just follow your voice, follow your intuition. You are your own best guide. I'm merely just a messenger to debunk. There's a lot of people out there, as I said, monopolizing off vulnerability, not just of twin flames in general, just human souls. So, in 2019, I'd never touched a card in my entire life. I did watch some of the shenanigans online, and I was told to come out and message the truth. The truth as I know it. It's documented, thousands of pages. None of it was ever researched through Dr. Google or Google. It all came to me in my journal, the most sacred thoughts, most sacred messages, and I share those messages with you in hopes that you will find the light within. So the other day I was talking about this piece of paper, and that's my father's handwriting, and 2373727. I don't want to get back into it. If you want more detail, just go to that video I posted a couple of days ago. And basically, this is my father's handwriting. He passed away in year 2000. I found this piece of paper 14 years later. It wasn't a coincidence. It was about 7.5 months before my mother had passed. I found it in December of 2014. And 237 is 2373727. And I just want to show you something. I just I don't want to, I want to keep my mother's, privacy, but she died on July 23rd, which is the 23rd day of the 7th month. So this just goes to show that there are no coincidences in life, and there is divine magic that occurs, and science isn't always the answer. So I just wanted to share that with you. There's so much more in this beautiful universe that we live in, and if you're open to it and you're accepting to it, you will see it. If you're closed to it, you won't. And that's whatever, maybe, but it's no coincidence that I found this just months before my mother had passed, and it's my father's handwriting, and it is to the day 7/23. So goosebumps, I know, kind of crazy. And then my grandmother here, my dad's mom, same thing. It's 7/23. So if you look here, there's 23 and 7 here. So 7/23. And I when I found this, I was like, I'm going to win the lottery. Because this is both written on lottery paper, but you can see here the number 7 and 23, and I found them both on the same day, and I never seen these pieces of paper in ever. So crazy. So I'm going to get started. Just going to go through some of the energy, and again, what resonates, what doesn't. I have here, some of you may be struggling with some self-worth, purity and innocence I have written down, and unconditional love. So what is the purity and the innocence? Purity and innocence means that, well, and again, I just don't want to speak for twin flames. I want to speak for human souls in general. Many of us in life get tainted, temptation, and all sorts of negative annotations, negative thought. When you come into each other, and again, I don't know where this concept came from. I resonate with twin flames because every characteristic is dear to my heart and my soul, and to my twins as well. And you were meant to come in and restore that purity and that innocence of your soul. That's what you do. You wake each other up. Your self-awareness and everything is just heightened, and it's an awakening on steroids. It's not voluntary, it's forced, and it's confusing as no tomorrow. And you're meant to have awareness, and you're meant to awaken. That is the grace of God. And I don't care what anyone says. Everything that I write is, it's not about religion. It's about the messages that are given, divine messages from however you resonate, and you're meant to restore yourself into purity and innocence, and get rid of all of that tarnishment, and just restore your soul into purity and innocence. And if it takes a beautiful, beloved soul to give you unconditional love and show you what you're truly meant to be, then that is your journey. And so unconditional love is what gets you to purity and innocence. And what is unconditional love? Unconditional love is walking freely without ask nor condition. And when you come into each other, you open that unconditional love up. And it's at the soul level. And the soul level is very complex, because we are all body. Our body, our temple, houses our soul. Our soul is who we are and who we're meant to be and how we navigate on this earth. And some of you maybe have been navigating your body, your life, and not really getting to your soul and into your soul truth and to who you truly are meant to be. So when you come into this blessed, beautiful being, they open you up to show you what you're meant to be, and navigate that path of purity and innocence, and abolish any issues that you have with your self-worth. I don't want to get into it. The documentary I'm working on will get into all of this, and the awakening process and what happens during that process. And there are naysayers out there, and you're a beautiful family, and thank you all so much for your support, and your emails. And I know some of you were concerned. I don't let trolls bother me. What bothers me about trolls is that they're so in a dark space and low vibration, it troubles my heart. So they don't bother me. It bothers me that they are navigating their journey on life in such darkness. So thank you so much for your love. I do appreciate it. So that's what I have there. I have the number 222, 555, 2 cardinals, and 3 doves. And 2 and 3 is 5, and 555 is very significant. We have 5 senses, we have 5 fingers, we have 5 toes. And the reason why I resonate with numbers is because of this right here. My father speaking to me 14 years after he had passed and basically telling me the date of my mother's death, which is insanity. And the love story between my mother and father, I won't even go there. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Love it all so much. I do, and again, out of my own entertainment purposes, I do what's in the masculine's heart space as of the moment. We live in the moment. If they could say anything, what would they say? What's in the feminine heart space? And if they could say anything, what would they say? Always as of the moment and the overall energy. And so I'm going to get started. I do 4 cards, 4 being my birth number. I have, you know, that's just one freaky occurrence with that piece of paper. I couldn't believe that. And ironically, I pulled it out of my wallet the day my mother died. You wouldn't imagine the goosebumps I had when I looked at that. So I'm going to ask for 4 cards, please. I'm going to probably do like a healing, if it's 3, I'll take it, a healing videos as well. Just because unfortunately we live in a very bleak world where people attach themselves to false labels and not to who they're truly meant to be. So I think if we all, and again, this is not, no pun intended towards anyone, had more unconditional love in our heart, then the world would be a much, much brighter place. So this is what's in the masculine's heart space as of the moment. So I want to talk about fear. And fear is one of those things that fear is, it's a good thing sometimes because it keeps you safe. You know, a certain element of fear keeps you safe. So, you know, like you're not going to go, if you're in the woods and you see a black huge bear or something like that, you're not going to go and battle the bear. You have a certain element of fear. And the masculine energy has overcome the fear. Many of us live with fear and worry. And that's not purity and that's not innocence. And some of us live in constant fear. And the masculine energy has had that nemesis of fear. And they're overcoming the fear. But they want you to know that they've had fear. And it, for some, it's almost debilitating. Like it's kept them, this fear of what is going on with them spiritually, and awakening. It's fearful and it's frightening, and they've kind of been like in a hermit because they're afraid of what's happening, and they're fearful of losing their identity. But they are definitely overcoming that, and that's part of the journey, believe it or not. And signs and syncs, some very powerful signs and syncs are occurring all over, and it's not a coincidence. It truly, truly isn't. If you're noticing them, then it's not a coincidence. There's people walking this earth with rose-colored glasses on that have no idea what we're meant to do on this earth. But they're seeing like just profound signs and syncs. And they realize that it's not a coincidence. And they realize that these signs and syncs mean something as they awaken. And it's beautiful. And a sacred union. The masculine knows that this is a sacred union, and you coming together is no coincidence. They're trying to like disseminate, peel away the reasons and that fear, and they're trying to understand, why did you come into my life? at this moment, at this time, and in divine time. And it is truly, honestly, to bring you back to purity and innocence. Because we are not meant to navigate the world in fear. We're not in anger and in darkness. We've been given a gift of life, and we need to give that gift back and be grateful and thankful. And they know that this is a sacred union, and I love it all so much. And again, it all happens in divine time. So you come to each other in divine time. And I always say that everything is preordained. So our lives are preordained. And the only entity or power that knows is the higher power. So anyone that's trying to manipulate and read your future and tell you that this is going to be, I'm sorry, they're playing with the devil almost, because everything is almost preordained. Your footsteps, your footprint, your blueprint in life. And if somebody's manipulating that, then they're fighting fire, like they truly are. So everything is in divine time, and I love it all so much. And if they could say anything in the moment, what would it be? And I'm going to ask for 4 cards, please. And again, it doesn't lie. Exactly. And the thing is too about, like, you know, I've seen so many things in my life. By the grace of God, I've seen like such amazing things that is not even describable. And I said, I can go on for hours and hours of the things that I've seen. Exactly resonates. Meditating unconditional love. They, like I said earlier, you opened up the beauty and the gift of unconditional love. And that's not putting conditions on love. There's people out there that, you know, like, I'm not going to say people, I'm just going to say in general, you know, you're like, well, I'm doing this, I'm healing, I'm like endeavoring, you know, I'm doing all this stuff for me. Why isn't my twin or soulmate or divine love or fated connection, however you resonate, coming back to me? I'm doing everything I need to do. Right at that moment, you're putting a condition on that love. And this journey is about, believe it or not, a journey of oneself and self-love. It's for you to get back to that purity and innocence. And if you get back to the purity and innocence and you have a love for yourself that you'd never had before, then that's when the magic occurs. This is a test of your will, your strength, your courage. And it is. And you get pushed down, you know, and then you get back up and you keep walking and forging forward. But they are definitely meditating unconditional love. I'm trapped in the vortex of the low vibration in the 3D world. It's easy to get trapped in the vortex of the 3D world because there's all these sleeping souls that don't understand the gift of awakening. And they're naysayers, right? And you get stuck in that low vibration of the 3D world. And I spoke of this just earlier in this message. You know, where 3D is third dimensional, it's all like, it's 3D, but our soul is not third dimensional. it's you can't see it. And when you awaken to who you're truly meant to be, it is truly a gift. But there's always these naysayers and pieces of shit out there. Sorry. I never swear, but you sparked the creativity that lied dormant within me for so long. I love you for inspiring me. That's another thing too. you inspire each other to be the best that you can be. And stuff that's lied dormant, you know, your creativity is peaking and flourishing, and this is happening. You know, and I know personally, with my writing, after I met my beloved soul, I've always written since I've been 9. I've seen things, like I said, visions, all sorts of things. But the creativity, what opened up in me was this. I've never touched a card in my entire life until 3 years ago. And I honestly just wanted to debunk some of these people out there that are filling their bank accounts off of vulnerable hearts. And that was where my creativity peaked, was, you know, debunking some of the myths and the dishonesty. And I have surrendered to oneself and our love. So they're letting go of the fear, and that is surrendering to oneself and who they're truly meant to be. The unconditional love is taking them to a place where they can surrender and just let go and be free to who they're truly meant to be. And with that purity, with that innocence, resolving all the trauma, the inner childhood wounds, it's, you know, they're breaking free of all of that, and they want you to know that. And they're just giving their love freely without ask or condition, and they're just trusting whatever will be, will be. And it's beautiful, and I love it all so much. So if this feminine energy as of the moment, and you know, if it doesn't come out, I'll elaborate on it later, because there's a lot of stuff that I don't share. I do, like I said, I do it out of my own entertainment purposes, and that's 2, so I won't take it. I'm going to ask for 3 cards, please. Thank you. So this is feminine energy as of the moment. 2, so ask for 1 card, please. And that's ironically coming out for the feminine energy as well. Fear, letting go. I don't know, like sometimes these cards just used to amaze me, and the fear of letting go of your ego. And ego is there to protect you, but it's also a nemesis as well. And, you know, sometimes we get like these very morbid, dark thoughts. I'm not going to tell you where that comes from. You can figure that one out on your own. And it's always, you know, your psyche or your conscience or your ego wanting to take away the peace of who you're truly meant to be. It's temptation. And letting go of the ego and all of the negative parts of that ego is scary, because that's what you identify yourself to. You attach yourself to that ego. And once that ego starts to dismantle, it's scary. And your fear, like you're losing yourself and your identity. But just let it go. Many truths are on the horizon. This journey is a journey of truth. You come to these revelations, you come to these truths of who you're meant to be, what you're meant to be, how you're meant to be. And the truth, I can't believe this is coming out, because you know, when you think of something and it happens right away. I was just talking about the inner child, but this is something that I was meditating on earlier, because this is something, a healing video that I want to do, because it's not, you know, it's something deep within us. It's a subconscious thing, and we don't realize it when we're navigating our journey of life. But our inner child defines on who we are in the moment, in the now. And if there's trauma there, as a child, it kind of comes with you. You navigate your journey with that wounded warrior within yourself. And the most important thing is to acknowledge that wounded, like, child. Write it down, you know, acknowledge those wounds. And then how are you going to heal those wounds? Because if you don't acknowledge it, you'll remain stuck. Inner childhood work is some of the most difficult healing work there is. Because who wants to resurrect a wound? And who wants to resurrect trauma? You don't. But that's how you get restored. And you get liberated, and you get peace, and you come back to that purity and that innocence of who you're truly meant to be. Why does it happen in the first place? I don't know. To see if you can navigate your journey with, you know, that element of trauma. But all of us are meant to come back to purity and innocence. So it's beautiful, and I love it all so much. And if you could say anything, what would it be? And if it's 4, I'll take it. It's not. Someone else for 4 cards, please. And 1 card, please. Thank you. It's kind of ironic how you're both in that low vibration, unfortunately. I hear and feel you telepathically. This is a beautiful, beautiful gift that you both have been given. Again, if you go back to my video a couple of days ago, my twin and I are very energetically aligned, and it's beautiful, some of the things that we've shared, and we still continue to share. But you can, and you know, if you're one of those people that want to attach yourself to facts and science, they're actually science is actually proving that this does exist, and it can happen from the other side of the world. So if you feel and hear, then likely you are, and that's for you, masculine. Let me into your world, don't close me out. I feel like right now both of you are trapped in this low vibration of the 3D world, and you're doubting certain things on this journey. You're doubting yourself. There's fear, and you may be, that's the energy that you're passing back and forth. It's only temporary. Keep meditating unconditional love. When you meditate unconditional love, you automatically raise the vibration. And when you raise that vibration and you walk the path of unconditional love, you radiate love. And that energy is around you. And people are magnets towards you because you're radiating light and love, and it's beautiful. And lastly, our love is pure, raw, and vulnerable. It is pure, raw, and vulnerable. And another caveat there, please don't let that vulnerability, you know, I was too vulnerable. I was extremely vulnerable. And I'm, you know, a professional. And I was never in such a vulnerable spot in my life. And what happened was I went on this like fearful journey of finding out who I was truly meant to be. And I did get caught up in some of the, you know, the nonsense on the internet. And that's when some driving force came to me and said, you need to stop what's going on out there and come with the truth. It is raw, it's vulnerable. You know, keep your money in your pocket. As I said, there's no one out there that can give you the answers except for you. So, beautiful. I'm going to give overall energy. I'm just going to use these beautiful energy cards. So what's the overall energy? I feel like, and I don't know why, like this happens, like I just started with this message and then all my sinuses started getting clogged. So, and they were fine just before I started. So maybe some of you have a third eye block. And that could cause sinuses, and if it's 4, I'll take it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there's doors to value and door to romance. A lot of doors opening up here. And again, financial abundance is here. When you're in the moment, if you remain in the moment and the power of now, then you can manifest things like a million times over. Financial abundance is here. The door to romance is here. Thinking of the future and harboring in the past just gives you anxiety and depression, believe it or not. If you live in the moment and just focus on something beautiful in this moment, then you're living in the moment and you're appreciative. So door to value, door to romance. And this is the overall energy, angel of love. I believe that we have spiritual guardians and overseeing. And I can't tell you the number of times I had dreams about my father and my twin. And it was that they were just very obscure. And I hadn't dreamt of my father for years. And then all of a sudden, my father was coming into my dreams with my twin. And they were getting along superb. To me, that was my father and his protection to tell me that this is truly what it's meant to be. And there is definitely there's protection there for this love. And right now there is some fear, there is some indecision, there is some letting go of things that no longer serve your soul. But just know that you are being protected and there is love. And I firmly believe there is, because I know I walk the footprint and it's beautiful. And again, there is some indecision, and the indecision is the fear and the reluctance to let go. What do you want to do? You always want to hang on to what is comfortable, and letting go of something that's not comfortable is scary. And there's that indecision. The indecision is the ego interfering with this door to romance. And let it go and trust you. Trust your gut and your heart and your soul, and just harmonize your mind and soul, and you'll be in a much, much greater place. So that's what I have for you today. I want to give you one loving message to take with you tonight, today, wherever you may be in this beautiful world we live in. Don't let the negative vibes get to you. Sometimes that negative vibe is you. The mind plays tricks. It really, really, truly does. I always just say, if something comes to me, I just say, you're not welcome here. Thank you. And there we are. And it says, trust in the healing power of love, for it's only through love that happiness is possible. Observe all that transpires, but don't get emotionally attached. The storm will clear. You can be of assistance to the one you love only if you remain positive. And that's exactly it. Trust in the healing power of love, and trust in the healing power of you. And just love, love yourself. Sometimes we get caught up in the whys, and we don't get and we just let the mind be the ruler of our journey. The heart is a much, much greater place to navigate your journey with. So that's what I have for you today, beautiful souls. Again, thank you all so much for your trust and your gifts as well, and the family on this channel. It really does warm my heart from the bottom of my heart. So have a super day, folks.